Good afternoon. My name is Abby Whited, and thank you for being and attending session with panelists from Penn State University. If you have questions, please use the Q&A button. Type the questions for the presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so you are muted and your video is off. The panelists cannot see or hear you. If you are interested in signing up for more sessions, please look at the schedule on the OACAC website at www.oacac.org. And of course, recordings will be available after this presentation. So I will turn this over and to our panelists. Thank you.
Here. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We are all of your representatives from Penn State University. My name is Jordan. I am the territory manager for the Ohio area, so I am super excited to get to chat with you all today. But I also have some colleagues here from different areas of Penn State that are eager and anxious to talk to you all about their opportunities as well. So I'm going to turn it over to Ben to start us off and introduce himself.
Well, thank you everyone out there for joining us this afternoon. Like Jordan mentioned, my name is Ben Carr. I'm the admissions counselor for the Schreier Honors College at Penn State. I actually have to go to another visit, so I'm going to make this brief. But if you want to follow up with me after today's session, you can email us at scholars@psu.edu in case you have any questions. But just to give you a quick overview of the Schreier Honors College at Penn State, we are an opportunity for our high achieving students to really set themselves apart. There are some outstanding benefits associated with the Honors College, including a $5,000 annual scholarship. We guarantee honors housing for all 4 years, and we are really able to provide a lot of additional funding for things like internships, research, and study abroad. By the way, you're going to hear from some of my awesome campus colleagues here in a little bit, but you can be a scholar at any one of our locations at Penn State. Most of our scholars will be at the University Park location, but actually, we have scholars on all of our campus locations, and actually 7 of our campuses, you can spend all 4 years and still graduate from the Schreier Honors College at Penn State. We do have a separate application process. We do a holistic review where we will look at essay responses, letters of recommendation, and then we also do an academic review. We don't have a minimum GPA requirement, but typically most of our applicants are coming from the top 5 to 10% of their graduating class. So I will put in a plug. By the way, we have an event coming up called Scholars Day on Tuesday, September 29th, where we will have 2 live question and answer sessions that you can choose from. One is at 3 o'clock and one is at 8 o'clock in the evening, where you will hear from a panel of current scholars, alumni, and some faculty members as well. So we hope you will join us for that. And there's some more information on the Schreier Honors College website about that event. So thank you everybody for joining us. I hope you learned a lot, and I'm going to turn it back over to Jordan.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ben. I'm going to turn it over to Katie to introduce herself here.
Hi, I'm Katie Patterson. I'm an admissions counselor at our Penn State Barron campus. That's in Erie, Pennsylvania. And I guess kind of a fun fact about our campus is that we fully experience all 4 seasons. So we do get snow in the winter and lots of it. You can go sled boarding, skiing. We have people who actually do ski down the hills on our campus, but we do also get all the nice pretty colors of fall, all the fun colors of spring, and some of the heat of summer. So that's a fun fact about Barron.
Too funny. All right, I will turn it over to Justin here as well to tell about himself and his campus.
Sure thing. Thank you, Jordan. Again, my name is Justin Vorbach. I'm the Associate Director of Enrollment at Penn State Beaver. And first and foremost, thank you all for joining us this afternoon. A little bit about Penn State Beaver. We're located close to the city of Pittsburgh, about 30 to 45 minutes away. Our enrollment is less than 1,000 students. And probably the fun fact is we have students from 25 states and 10 foreign countries at our one location. So it's a pretty diverse environment.
Too cool. And last but certainly not least, Evan, a little bit about you and your campus.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Evan Groover. I am the representative from Penn State Shenango, located in Sharon, Pennsylvania. We are one of the smallest Penn State campuses in the entire system, but very much full of life and full of fun activity. We are commuter only, and if you happen to live in the Trumbull and Mahoning County areas, I'd love to be able to connect with you. A fun fact about Shenango is that we are technically the only urban campus in the entire system. So you wouldn't think that knowing Western Pennsylvania, but it is a really unique and beautiful setting in downtown Sharon.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much for being here and helping describe a little bit about your campus and what you do. They're going to be on the chat, so if you all have questions throughout, feel free to jump into the Q&A box and ask those questions. And that can happen throughout the presentation. I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible so we can leave some time at the end. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'll tell you a little bit about Penn State. So overall, Penn State is a top 1% world-class university. We were ranked in the top 50th out of 18,000 universities across the globe. So what that means for you all is not only are you getting an awesome education, but you're also very well supported by all of these wonderful Penn State staffers. We couldn't do that without our faculty. So that number right in the middle there, we have a student to faculty ratio of about 16:1. And this is including all of our campuses. So some campuses might be a little bit different than other campuses. So you can kind of pick and choose based on what type of education you prefer. If you prefer a little bit smaller classrooms, it's definitely something to consider as you're moving through this process. Another great thing about Penn State, when I move over to this, it's hard to see that $900 million. I would rather it say Research One Institution, but Penn State does receive $900 million in undergraduate research. So our faculty members are doing an incredible job doing research, development, all of that fun stuff. And you as undergraduate students would be able to get involved in that as early as your freshman year. So it's very awesome that we have those opportunities available to you and you have access to that at Penn State. So introducing our 20 campuses, you have 3 of them right here. So you have a whole bunch right here to chat with and ask a little bit. You can actually see they are all the closest ones to Ohio, which is neat. So you get to kind of talk to them about their specific campuses as well. But we also have other campuses that are a little bit eastern side of Pennsylvania. So you can go all the way towards the eastern side of Pennsylvania and find lots of Penn Staters spread around the state of Pennsylvania. The monopoly houses that you see here are campuses that do indicate on-campus housing. So if you see a yellow or a red monopoly house, you do see those have on-campus housing available. If they don't have a monopoly house, don't worry, there's still housing available for you. It might just mean that there's a little bit off-campus apartment, something along those routes as well. None of you guys mentioned the 2+2 program, so I'm going to say it. Penn State does have the opportunity for you to do a 2+2 program. So what that means is you are able to spend 2 years at any campus of your choosing, and then you can transition and spend 2 years at a different campus. The only caveat to this would mean the campus would need to have the major that you are interested in. So take a look, and you might need to do a little bit of research. If you are interested in one of the phenomenal campuses here, you can take a look and see what majors they have available, and I'm sure they will talk about it as well. But yeah, you can always switch campuses and kind of make the best out of your Penn State education and even just try to change around your experience a little bit. So all of our campuses offer the same education. It's all the same Penn State University. It's just a matter of seeing which ones offer your major and the experience that you are looking for. So again, talking about different majors, we have over 275 different majors for you to choose from. This is where if I was with you in person, I'd be like, okay, what are we interested in? And most likely Penn State has that available to you. So no matter what you're interested in, we have lots of different majors to choose from. And again, if you can't find your major, there's something that might be a parallel or related to it. So pretty unique system. We're all housed in academic colleges. So for example, if you're interested in mechanical engineering, you would be housed in the College of Engineering. So you'd be looking at that college specifically. If you have no idea what you want to do, don't worry. I still don't know what I want to do, and I already graduated. No worries at all. We have a division of undergraduate studies that's available to you. So this is our undecided or exploratory major. You have until the end of your sophomore year to officially declare your major. So about 2 years to kind of explore a little bit and see what you're interested in throughout Penn State. All right. Fingers crossed you're not spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in a classroom. We have lots of different opportunities available to you at Penn State, and each campus has their own unique opportunities as well, and I'll have them chat a little bit about that as well. But there are so many different clubs and activities to get involved in that range from club sports, arts and theater. There's numerous amounts of dance crews, which I didn't even know there were countless amount of dance styles. So lots of different opportunities for you, including Greek life, service organizations, if you're interested in leadership as well. A lot of our clubs and organizations have executive groups or executive committees that allow you to get access to that type of leadership as well. Penn State as a whole fosters diversity and inclusion. This is actually implemented in our strategic plan, and there are several initiatives campus-wide that are university-wide that are creating an environment that is inclusive and is also diverse as well. And as you all know, this is an ongoing process, so making sure that we are continuing this process, and you could be a part of that as a Penn Stater as well, be a part of this initiative. I promise I'm almost done. Okay, 4 things that we need from you. So seniors, you guys are applying now. We will need your online application. So that is through the Common App, the Coalition app, or you can go through apply.psu.edu. Whichever route works for you, works for us. So make sure that you are picking a route that is suitable for you. Next to that, we will need you to submit your SRAR, so your self-reported academic record. The Common App and the Coalition app have this availability. Penn State is not accepting that version. So you will need to create your My Penn State profile, which is right at the bottom there. And then it'll prompt you to create your self-reported academic record. So that way there's just a blue button. It's super easy to find on your My Penn State profile. You'll fill out your 9th through 11th grade grades and then your 12th grade schedule. I saved SAT, ACT for last because Penn State did opt to go test optional for this year. So for summer and fall 2021 applicants, you have the option to submit your test scores. You do not have to. I know a lot of students are very anxious. They're like, oh my gosh, do I submit them? Do I not? Great way to estimate your eligibility on whether or not you want to submit them or not is to take a peek at the GPA, SAT, ACT for our middle 50%. So what ranges you're looking at right now are the current first year students at each of these campuses. So this is where they fell as far as their GPA, SAT, and ACT scores. University Park is up top. That is our largest campus. And then all of our other campuses range right below there. So what I always tell students, and you guys can correct me if you tell them something otherwise, is if you find that your GPA falls within these ranges, awesome. And your SAT, ACT scores do not, then I would definitely recommend maybe you don't submit your test scores. Maybe we just look at that GPA for you or your high school record. If you find that your GPA reflects this and then your SAT and ACT scores do as well, then I would say absolutely submit your test scores. It's definitely something that we would like to consider in the review process, but if you choose not to, it will not, I guess it won't be a con if you do not submit your test scores. So yeah, so just keeping that in mind as you go through your process. These are public, so you can look at these online as well. Timeline. So for those of you that are seniors, I would just take note that our early action deadline has been extended to November 15th. So that has not gone out yet. We have not sent that out yet, unless I'm wrong. There was an email that I didn't get. Okay, cool. So you guys are getting the first news here. November 15th is our early action deadline. And then you have until May 1st to accept your offer. Top bar, you'll notice, is the FAFSA deadline. That is our free application for federal student aid. That is what Penn State uses primarily for need and merit-based scholarships. I will take note here, and I'm sure someone here will talk about the Discover Award at Penn State. So since you all are a neighboring state, you are Ohio. If you didn't know, you are neighboring. So you have the opportunity to be reviewed for a Discover Award, which is for all of our other campuses except University Park. So I will let one of them chat about it more so you can get more detail on that. So here's a great thing to look at. Again, this is your investment at Penn State for a non-Pennsylvania resident. And again, there's differences between each campus, so you can kind of see where each campus would fall or just where you would fall as far as what you would be paying for a Penn State tuition, and then also room and meals. People always get really scared when they see these numbers. This is a sticker price, so just keep that in mind. You may need to go to tuition.psu.edu. I wish it was on here, to look at your actual tuition prices with including your aid. I always pause in case people want to take pictures of this, and then I'm going to move forward. Last slide here, and I'll stop talking after that and let my colleagues talk here. But what a great time to talk about your return on investment at Penn State. So after you see those super big numbers, the return on investment at Penn State is absolutely incredible. I know I'm an alumni. A lot of our other colleagues are alumni as well, or went and got their master's at Penn State. But Penn State does have the largest living alumni network in the entire world. There are 700,000 of us out there. I know that's a super big number. But what's really nice is you jump into this network the second you become a Penn Stater. So the second you accept your offer to Penn State, you have countless amounts of people that are eager and wanting to help you continue your education, continue your career. We are number 2 in graduating CEOs. So those of you that are interested in some sort of business route or just networking in general, it's a really, really great opportunity for you to jump into this very massive network and become a Penn Stater. I know a lot of us do. We aren't traveling this year, but normally we do travel. We're on the road, and we would be with you in person. But a lot of us find ourselves in airports, find ourselves in hotel rooms, or even at restaurants in your local areas. We will always, always, always have someone come up to us and say, hey, I went to Penn State. My sister went to Penn State. I want to chat with you briefly, just like, what's going on? So it's always nice to make you feel a part of a family. And I know a lot of us Penn Staters can say, we're super friendly. We like to talk. A lot of us like to talk. On that note, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to leave it open to questions from you all if you have any questions. I will moderate the questions, but until then, can one of you, actually, Justin, can you talk about the Discover Award a little bit more?
Certainly, I would love to. So the Penn State's Discover Award is a scholarship that is specific and directed at you as students from Ohio. The value of this award is $26,000 spread out throughout 4 years at Penn State. So you'd receive $6,000 for your first year, $6,000 for your second year, $7,000 in your third, and $7,000 in your fourth, for a whopping total of $26,000. Now, here's the thing about Discover Penn State. You have to be at a campus other than Penn State University Park and other than our World Campus to be eligible for this award. The only other thing you need to do to be eligible for this award is fill out the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. You do those two things, meaning you have an offer of admission from one of our Commonwealth campuses outside of University Park or World Campus, and you fill out your FAFSA, and you do it within our timeline, and you will receive $26,000 as a scholarship for being a student from Ohio. Fun fact, Jordan went through the costs of attending Penn State. This one award alone basically takes 4 years of tuition costs and breaks it down to 3. It almost covers your full year of tuition costs. Keep in mind that if you're able to commute back and forth from any one of our campuses, you could save a lot of money on the housing side of things. So Evan mentioned he's right on the other side. Penn State Shenango is right on the border of Pennsylvania and Ohio. You can very easily get back and forth. The same can be said about Erie or Beaver, depending on where you live in Ohio. So you could really save a lot of money, and that's the value of the Penn State degree. And the Discover Award is just an addition, added value on top of that. This award can also be stacked upon. So if a certain campus is offering you a campus award, maybe it's an academic award, you can receive the Discover Award and then any additional scholarships, grants, or student aid that you receive on top of that to help keep your costs low. And this is a brand new award that we opened up probably in the past year or so. So it's a great opportunity for you. Jordan, I think we have our first question.
We do. Awesome. I'm going to pronounce this name absolutely wrong, and I'm so sorry. I hope it's Alana. Katie, I'm going to direct this question towards you, and I'll go through the list here to see if y'all are doing any on-campus visits at each of your campuses.
So currently, we don't have any in-person on-campus visits. Hopefully, we'll be cleared to do so within the near future, but we do have a lot of different virtual opportunities. We are going to be having a virtual live tour for Penn State Barron will be rolled out here within the next few weeks. So keep an eye on our website or any of the websites that will give you any up-to-date on any virtual visit opportunities where you do get a chance to speak with admissions and students, and maybe also have an opportunity to speak with people within the academic unit you're looking at. So hopefully we'll have that on campus here soon, but we're just waiting to hear.
Thanks, Katie. Evan, what about you? Are you all doing on-campus visits, or are there opportunities to visit your campus?
Yeah, not currently. All remote visits right now, but we do have a virtual and interactive map that students can visit if they just go to shenango.psu.edu. You can very easily find that, or you can schedule a virtual appointment if you want to sit down with me, kind of like we are now, just in a little bit more interactive of a Zoom room. We can talk through financial aid. We can talk through, any kind of maybe college credit plus classes you might be bringing with you to Penn State. We can have a pretty productive conversation until I'm able to actually physically show you around our campus.
And then Justin, what about your campus?
We're the same as Katie and Evan at Shenango and Barron. No in-person visits right now, but we have a plethora of virtual events for students to schedule and attend, where you can learn all about Penn State and Penn State Beaver.
Awesome. Thank you all. Lena, I have a question from you. Is living on campus required for University Park freshman year? Yes, it is guaranteed and required. If you do choose University Park, you are guaranteed and required housing for your first year. After your first year, you can opt to live off campus or in other opportunities. I think, Katie, is Barron, you are guaranteed but not required, correct?
We are guaranteed and required unless if you live within the local area and you're planning on commuting from your parents' house. So.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Awesome question there, Lena. So yeah, you are guaranteed and required. Again, after that, you don't have to. Specifically, a lot of students, their follow-up question to that is, can I have my car on campus? The answer is no, not at University Park specifically. You need 29.1 credits, I think that's the number now, in order to be eligible to have your car on campus. That I think creates or makes you a sophomore or junior. Don't quote me on that. The credits change every year. But yeah, so you would need 29.1 credits in order to bring your car on campus. Awesome questions, you guys. Again, keep those questions coming in the Q&A. We love to chat. We still got about 20 minutes here, so you all can ask whatever questions you need answered. I will actually direct it to Evan. Can you tell us something unique about your campus?
Yeah, so we are, I think, the smallest in terms of full-time students in the entire Penn State system. So our average class size is only 11 kids, and ultimately, you get a really interactive experience at Penn State Shenango. We are right off of the downtown part of Sharon, so there's a beautiful river that runs right by our little campus. We actually have the first consolidated school. So if you don't know what a consolidated school was, when they went from one-room schoolhouses to what we see now with local elementary schools, Penn State actually bought the very first consolidated school in our county and then revamped it, made it very modern on the inside for our students to be able to attend. So a lot of history on our campus, as well as being within the city limits of Sharon, the only formerly urban campus. It's really a unique little campus to visit. We can pretty much see Ohio from our campus. If we see the treetops on the hill, that's pretty much Ohio. So yeah, it's a cool place if you live in Mahoning and Trumbull. We are the lowest cost of all of the Penn State campuses. So if you are commuting from, say, Youngstown, you get that $6,000 award to for being an Ohio resident. You with all of your financial aid could come for almost nothing. I'm actually amazed at how many of my students actually received a credit that they could put towards books this year. So we are very generous, over $700,000 in scholarship money for about 400 kids. So students can qualify for quite a bit of aid in an effort to keep that debt burden low.
Awesome. Thank you. I didn't know that about Shenango. That's awesome to know. So Katie, can you tell us something unique about your campus?
Yeah, so we are about 4,500 undergrads are at Penn State Barron, and when you talk about the 2+2, we do have a lot of students who participate in that, but we do have about 75% of our students that start at Barron do finish at Penn State Barron. So it is kind of like a little family within the big Penn State family is kind of how we always like to say it. People come to campus, think they're going to be here for 2 years and fall in love and stay. As Evan said, he could see Ohio from campus. We can see Canada. Sometimes if the lake is clear across Lake Erie, there's a little peninsula that jets out. And our campus is on top of a hill, so you really do get some of those unique Lake Erie sunsets as well across our campus. But we have a lot of opportunities also for if anyone's going into the sciences, and we have a major environmental science. We have a gorge that cuts right through campus, and a lot of our research is hands-on for our students where they go onto the gorge or they go to the lake. In fact, not this past summer, but the summer before, 2 of our students discovered a new invasive species in Lake Erie. There were signs that this invasive species was present in Lake Erie for the first time, and our students were actually the ones that discovered it. So pretty exciting stuff can happen anywhere across the Penn State system, not at all the corners. You always hear about fun, exciting things everywhere.
Very cool. I bet the students were either super excited or super scared after that. Kidding. All right. Justin, you're up. Anything unique about your campus? Anything you want to note?
Sure. So I mentioned earlier about the diversity of Penn State Beaver, but something else that's unique about our student population is 25% of our students are student athletes. We have a very robust athletic culture at our campus. And Jordan, if it's okay, I can give a quick overview of athletics at Penn State. Awesome. So Penn State actually offers several levels of athletic opportunities for students. At our University Park location, we participate NCAA Division I. I believe we have about 30 to 35 NCAA Division I sports teams that is as high can get when it comes to collegiate athletics. Some of our middle-sized campuses, as I refer to them as, including Penn State Barron, Altoona, Harrisburg, Abington, and Berks, all participate NCAA Division III. And then all of the other Penn State campuses represent 2 conferences. We have the PSUAC, which stands for the Penn State University Athletic Conference. Believe it or not, Penn State is so large as a university, we have our own athletic conference built into the university where all the smaller campuses play each other. And the teams that win the state of Pennsylvania or do really well in our conference are often invited to a national tournament and a national conference called the USCAA, which stands for the United States Collegiate Athletic Association. Think of the USCAA as the NCAA of small schools. So schools ranging from New York to California, Texas, Florida, everywhere across the country participate in the USCAA. But at no point will Penn State Shenango or Beaver ever play Ohio State's main campus. However, we will play a lot of other smaller colleges and universities, usually with about 5,000 students or less. And then bringing it full circle back to Penn State Beaver, I'm proud to announce that our women's basketball team at Penn State Beaver won the national championship last year for the 2nd time in school history. So a lot of great opportunities. In addition to varsity athletics, there's also club and intramural sports. So whether you're passionate about sports and just want to get involved, or maybe you're a committed athlete, you have several options and opportunities for you throughout the entire Penn State system.
Awesome. Thank you so much, you guys. That was awesome. So we do have a question, and I'm going to rephrase this in a general sense so that I don't have to be as specific here. So for those of you that are CCP or students that are taking dual enrollment courses, so if you're taking classes at a community college or just some college that's nearby, you would actually be putting that on your self-reported academic record. So we have that option on your self-reported academic record. It asks if you've taken any AP, CC, or honors courses, and then also any dual enrollment courses. So you would actually be putting that on your self-reported academic record. What's really cool is we can actually help transfer some credits into Penn State credits. So what you can do is you can actually go to, I actually don't know the website off the top of my head, but if you Google it, if you Google transfer credit tool Penn State, you can actually access how those credits would transfer over into Penn State credits. That is specific to dual enrollment. So if you took courses at a specific community college and you want to know how they would transfer over, you could do that as well. What happens in that sense is you would actually go through the transfer credit process. So you would submit a transfer credit notice to admissions@psu.edu. They will request a final transcript from whatever institution that you took those credits from, and then they would actually help transfer those credits over into Penn State credits. So yeah, Lila, I am going to get this wrong. I'm so sorry. So Lila, if you are looking to submit any of your transfer credits that way, you could do that. If you have any AP credits, you can also look up and see what scores Penn State would require for AP credit testing. So Penn State does accept AP test scores as credit, but you would need to receive a certain score in order for that to transfer over. Each class has a different score, so I can't give you a specific. Majority of them are a 4 or a 5. You should test a 4 or a 5 in order to receive credit. But I don't know because some of them are very different. That was an awesome question. We do have students that come into Penn State after graduating high school already with an associate's degree. So that's awesome that you're coming in with that. Incredible work. Oh, you guys are such hard workers. Okay, I am going to turn this over to Katie. We'll do some of our last minute questions. Katie, what is something that is unique about Penn State in general, or something that you can say that you've enjoyed about Penn State?
I think the alumni is very unique in general. And I am an alum. I went to Penn State Barron for both my undergrad as well as my master's, so I'm a 2-time alum. But I just think being able to go anywhere and meet someone who has a connection to Penn State, whether they went there, their daughter went there, their sister went there, is just a really unique experience. You never, if you go to a new city, you're never truly going to be alone, because you'll easily be able to find someone. There's alumni associations everywhere, and I just think that's a really unique opportunity that you get through an education from Penn State.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, we have some in Cincinnati. We have some in Cleveland as well. And there's some in Toledo. I didn't know there was some in Toledo, and they're all the way over there. So awesome. Evan, can you talk a little bit about the different opportunities, career and internship wise within Penn State? Any career and internship opportunities at Penn State?
Yeah, I think that so I've worked for a couple different schools to this point. Not an alum myself, but both my parents are. So have grown up in the Penn State family. But just what everybody's been saying, the connections that you're able to build, the fact that 1 in 106 college graduates in the United States happens to be a Penn State alum, your opportunities are going to be endless. So at a place like Penn State Shenango, where we are, a smaller campus in a tighter knit community, there's a lot of people out there who have come through our campus and now are in really cool positions. One of the area's largest land developers, the business manager, is a Penn State Shenango alum. And so usually every year we're able to get one of our students an internship over with him and his company because they relate so well to our campus. Now, just imagine, a place like Penn State Shenango, where we're a smaller campus, what can be done in places like, Erie with the Barron College, or even University Park, where we have people at Fortune 500 companies who are CEOs of companies, both internships during the semester. Some students will do those things, especially in their local area or surrounding their campus. But doing those summer opportunities where you have, the 3 months of dedicated full-time work experience, and doing that with a mentor potentially who is an alum of our campus, it's invaluable. Being able to find those people who can lead you, in your career, especially, as you progress towards graduating and getting that first full-time job. So, internships, externships, all kinds of different opportunities. Our career service office is tops in the country. So there are a lot of networks that we have too, even if it's not formally through an alum, that our career service people from both University Park and all the Commonwealth campuses can connect you to start that search, all kinds of aptitude tests and things along those lines if you're one of those students who might not know where they want to go or what they want to do with their particular degree. But really, honestly, the possibilities are endless, way more prevalent than any. I've worked for small schools my whole career, all of them nice, but nowhere near the power and ability of what Penn State's able to do. Think about it. If you go to Florida, right, people know about Penn State. They're going to have that. You're going to have that respect, that authority that comes with your degree that you just won't find at some of the smaller regional schools.
Awesome. You gave me goosebumps there, Evan. That was so cool. Justin, I'm going to turn this one over to you. Alana's asking, for specific majors, are there requirements for undergraduate students?
Great question, Alana. So typically when we're evaluating students, the difference in the criteria is more between campuses than it is anything else, at least at the beginning. Meaning our University Park campus has the highest criteria because it's the most competitive, whereas all of our other campuses are in the same realm. That I was going to ask you, Jordan. Thank you for sharing that. In this middle 50% chart will show you that. That being said, when it comes to specific majors, particularly majors in the colleges of arts and architecture, so things like architecture, musical theater, even really any of the art-based classes, there's usually a portfolio review or an audition that's also added to the application review process. So in addition to submitting your application, your self-reported academic record, and maybe your test scores, you'll also be required to submit supplemental materials like this interview or an audition tape. And then that would be an additional requirement. Same goes for our PMM, our pre-med medical accelerated option. There are additional requirements for that specific program that you wouldn't have for any other program. But outside of that, the differences in our criteria just are varied by University Park and our other campuses. Outside of that, we're all the same.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin. And thank you, Alana, for submitting that question. That one, a lot of people tend to get confused with the campus system and they think they're applying to a specific campus. You're not applying, technically, you're applying to all of Penn State in general. It's all one university. We all operate the same. So you would just select whichever campus you would like to choose. So the only difference here, you would be looking at that eligibility. So awesome question. We are sort of wrapping up time here. So if you have any last minute questions, please put those in the Q&A so we can kind of get those questions answered as quickly as possible. If you were unable to ask your question now, or if you want to ask your question later, all of us, again, I don't think we can add it in the chat. I don't think there is a chat, but we are all available to answer your questions. So you can email admissions@psu.edu. And that can get directed towards us if we can help answer any of those questions for you. So if we were unable today, we can absolutely help you with those questions specifically. I guess I will end it with just each of you telling your favorite memory of Penn State, or just what memory you've made so far throughout Penn State. So I'll start with Katie. Go ahead. You can tell your favorite memory of Penn State as an undergrad, graduate, faculty member, staff member. Go.
I think that my favorite memory was from my time whenever I was a Penn State student during my undergrad, and I was a member of the varsity cross country track and field teams there. And when we won our conference championship, the Allegheny Mountain Collegiate Conference, which is what Barron's in, we won a conference championship that year after not winning for the last 4 years. And just having that as a goal and working through that with a whole group of girls really made my senior year special. So I think that's my favorite memory, and just it's a really exciting time.
Oh, so fun. Congratulations. That's exciting. Justin, what is your favorite Penn State memory?
So I'll be up front and tell you that there's so many to choose from. But knowing that we're speaking to students from Ohio, about 4 or 5 years ago, I was actually in, it was Jamaica, when Penn State was playing Ohio State. I was on my honeymoon at the time, and my standout story is it took me less than an hour in Jamaica to meet my first Penn State alum. And that weekend was when Penn State was playing Ohio State, and on the sandy beaches of Jamaica with well over 150 to 200 other Penn Staters. I was watching that football game, and we came out victorious on that one. But just that really brought back to me the scope of that alumni association that you were talking about, Evan. Penn Staters are everywhere, and that moment in and of itself, I was how many miles away from Pennsylvania, and I was able to feel right at home with my friends and family that I just met moments before. So again, there are so many memories about Penn State, but that's one that does stand out for me.
So awesome. That's so cool that you were so far away and in Jamaica. Oh my gosh. All right, Evan, you're up. What is your favorite Penn State memory thus far?
Yeah, so, well, I've only been a Penn Stater myself since the beginning of the year. I am a child of two alums, and so I grew up in the blue and white and rocking the Nittany Lion for most of my life. And I think my favorite memory was probably just the first time I ever got to step on the University Park campus and really get to see and experience all the things that my parents, would share with me growing up, and, visiting the different local restaurants and the different, even like classroom buildings on campus, like where my dad did his engineering, classes. It just was really neat. And then probably rivaled very closely by my first Penn State football game.
Football games are always super duper fun. So fun to go to. To finish it off, I'll tell my favorite memory of Penn State. My favorite memory, so I worked in student activities for 2 years, I think. Yeah, 2 years. I don't even remember when I worked there. And I worked with students that actually got to put on concerts on campus. So they put on free concerts, free lectures, and all of that stuff. And I think my favorite memory was getting to see students meeting their hero. It was Karamo Brown. I don't know if you guys know who Karamo Brown is. He is on the Netflix show Queer Eye. He is a counselor, and he also does a lot of really great things for the community. But I had a student that was absolutely in love with him, and they wanted to meet him like since the day he got on the big screen. So they actually got to meet him, and I've never seen a student more happy in my entire life. So there's lots of great opportunities for you as Penn State students to get that, maybe not exact experience, but similar experiences where you get maybe to meet your hero, or your hero might be your best friend that you meet at Penn State. So lots of awesome things, but I want to thank StriveScan for putting this together and helping us navigate this virtual world. This has been absolutely incredible. And I want to thank you all for coming and submitting your questions and being engaged. We all miss you. We definitely hope that we can see you in person soon. But until then, feel free to contact us on any of these domains. Our email's there as well. You can email. And then we also have an experience page. So visit admissions.psu.edu/experience. Lots of really great virtual things happening through that. So thank you all so much. We hope that you stay safe and you come see us soon, virtually, or maybe you drive around campuses.
Yes, thank you, Jordan, Justin, Evan, Katie, and also make sure to let Ben know that we appreciate you all coming and speaking with the amazing attendees today. So I am going to just quickly end this session. So I want to, for those attendees still here, I would like to just send out a few reminders. So thank you again for joining us today. I don't know if my computer is slowing down. Oh, here we go. Nope, that's not what I want. Well, I will just tell you that you will be receiving a quick survey after you close the window. And so please take just take a few minutes to answer 4 questions. And then again, feel free to sign up for more sessions, and recordings will be available all on the OACAC www.oacac.org site. So have a wonderful day, and thank you again. Bye.
Bye, everyone.